Hello and welcome back to Bookish. I thought I'd do a tag for this Tag Tuesday. I kind of backed off doing tags. I've been averaging about one tag a month where I used to do at least one tag a week, and I'm kind of missing the tags. I'm missing the sense of community and being a part of what other people are doing. I'm not, I mentioned this a really long time ago. I'm really not a joiner. I'm kind of an anti-joiner and a bit of an introvert, to be honest with you, despite the fact that I have this channel. But I'm really kind of missing tags, and so I may pick up my tag production after the Thanksgiving holidays. But Sandy over at Ms. Reads a Lot created an original tag called the 1001 Books tag, and I've been doing the rounds, been enjoying everybody's take on the tag. And like a lot of other people, the thing I like best in tags are tags that kind of go beyond just, hey, what's an example of a book that does this? Not that those tags don't have their purpose, and not that they can't be great, but there are only so many times you can hold up the same books. This tag is really great because it asks a lot of kind of different questions. So I have the prompts here on my phone. So I thought I'd do this. By the way, I'll leave a link to Sandy's original video down below. So prompt number one: do you follow any book list? It can be a prize list or a challenge list, like the Rory Gilmore challenge. So I really don't follow prize lists. I do pay attention to one prize, and it's a long list and it's short list, and that is the Republic of Consciousness prize. That prize is run by, in part by someone who used to have a BookTube channel, used to make really great videos, most of which were, went right over my head, which is not all that difficult. I believe his name was Neil Griffiths. He is, I still believe, involved with the Republic of Conscience Prize. And basically, it is a small-ish, but growing book prize which seeks to recognize works published by smaller publishing houses. There's actually a limit on how many employees the publishing house could have. And I found at least two great books from that. One is one of my favorite books from last year, Leonard and Hungry Paul by Ronan Hession. Was a book that was, I think, shortlisted for the Republic of Conscience Prize. And then A Ghost in the Throat by Darren McGriffa, which I read this year and reviewed in August, I believe, is also on the list. I always like looking at the prize list. I've read another book from their prize list and didn't really necessarily like it that much, and I have another which I still haven't read, which I really should. But anyway, so that would be about it for prizes. I love watching everybody else's, Booker Prize and all the prize videos because I like hearing their takes on books that, are being recognized and are popular, but I don't follow those very closely. The next question is approximately how many physical books do you currently own, and how many ebooks? I've answered this question in another tag before, and I'd kind of done an estimate just counting the number of books in one box and multiplying that times the number of bookshelf boxes. And I think I came up with around 900 and something. I forgot I had books on another shelf in another room. That's probably another 50. I saw Eric Carl Anderson do this tag recently, and he's talked about having books, double stacked, and I do that too. So I'm just going to say I have about 1,001 books, Sandy, physical books, and I just really started as a reader of ebooks when I got a Kindle, and I probably have about 35 to 40 Kindle titles. I forgot to count before I did this. Yeah, so. The third prompt is 1,001 books read. Approximately how many books have you read in your lifetime? Do you keep track? So I read a lot more now that I'm on BookTube than I did, but I probably average 30 books a year for, about 35 years, which comes out to, I think if I can do the math right, a little over 1,000 books. So again, Sandy, I'm going to say I've read about 1,001 books because that seems to be a theme here. And do I keep track of them? I used to write down my books in just kind of a reading diary, which I have on my desk here somewhere, which I won't dare show you my desk because it's an absolute disaster. But I used to have a reading diary where I wrote all that stuff down. But then when I started making BookTube videos, I stopped writing down the books that I read. So right now, BookTube is my archive of books that I've read. The next prompt is 1,001 Arabian Nights. Have you read any stories from the Arabian Nights? Do you have a favorite? If you haven't read it, do you want to? So I think as a child I had a book which contained some of the stories from the Arabian Nights, like one of those books that was written collected for kids back in the 1920s. and so I probably have read one or two stories. Not that I was alive in the 1920s, but when I was a kid in the 1970s, I probably have read one or two, but I don't have any recall of them. And I'll be honest with you, that it's not really something that is of particular interest to me. I don't know why, but to me those feel almost like fairy tales, and I don't have a tremendous interest in reading fairy tales. Probably, a sign of a lack of imagination on my part. The next prompt is 1001 flavors. Do you have a favorite food or flavor? So I'm going to go kind of with favorite flavor. My favorite flavors are salty, fatty, really healthy stuff. So popcorn, chips, barbecue. By the way, can I just say, as a Texan, just for a minute here, just make a plea to all of you to stop calling grilling barbecuing. Barbecuing involves slow heat and smoke. It takes a lot of time. You're not barbecuing when you put a steak on the grill in your backyard. You're not barbecuing when you put hot dogs on a grill. That's not barbecuing, that's grilling. And I realize it's kind of pedantic and silly, but as a Texan, that people calling that barbecuing kind of bothers me. But anyway, barbecue, salty, fatty. I wrote down some other things. Oh, I really love fried foods, fried chicken, fried fish. Texas, we love chicken fried steak, which is basically you take a cheap piece of steak and fry it as over a piece of chicken. All the really healthy things. I also really like sour and bitter things, so like those Warhead candies that were really incredibly sour and then kind of bitter. My favorite alcohol is Scotch, so those are my favorite flavors. I probably match my personality. I'm somewhat salty, I'm definitely fatty, and I'm frequently sour and often bitter. So the next prompt is, let's see, 1001 pages. Have you read a book that's over 1001 pages? Is there any one that you'd recommend? I have read Infinite Jest, which I believe is over 1,000 pages when you include the footnotes, which I read. So I'm going to say Infinite Jest. I don't know that I would recommend it. I thought when I read it, I liked it. I found some parts of it tedious. I found some parts of it really interesting. I found some parts of it childish and stupid, and I found some parts of it to be truly beautiful and moving. So I don't know if that would be a recommendation. It is an awfully long book. I thought I would, though, recommend two books that are almost 1,000 pages, and since this is Nonfiction November, they're both nonfiction books. One would be Heather Clark's biography of Sylvia Plath, which I read this year for the BookTube Prize, called Red Comet, which was just an incredible work of scholarship and really great writing. I found some parts of it to be a little bit sensationalist, perhaps, or tediously obsessed with Sylvia Plath's love life, but other than that, I thought it was great. And then, David McCullough's biography of Truman comes in right at 1,000 pages, and I enjoyed that. McCullough has a tendency towards hagiography, but his writing is really a joy to read, and it's a good introduction to Harry Truman. Even if McCullough likes Truman and is willing to forgive his flaws, he does mention them and at least discuss them. Let's see. The next prompt is, yes, do you have a 1001 buckets? Do you have a non-bookish bucket list? What's one thing on the list? So I'm going to name more than one. Travel-wise, I'd like to travel a lot more. Primarily, I want to go to Scotland. But also, bucket list-wise achievement, I would really like to have a poem or a short story published at some point in my life. That would be a bucket list thing. And Steve Donahue, since you're always saying, people put stuff on their bucket list assuming they have infinite time, I am working on those things. Believe it or not. So prompt 8 is 1001 numbers. Do you have a lucky number? My lucky number is 13. I was born on the 13th. It just seemed natural that I would choose that as my lucky number, particularly since it is widely considered to be an unlucky number. The next prompt is 1001 authors. Do you have a favorite author and or genre? My favorite genre is probably fiction, even though biography is a really close second. And I've been enjoying reading a lot of group biographies lately. Favorite authors, I think if you watch my channel, you know these. Toni Morrison, William Faulkner, Honoré de Balzac, William Trevor. Louisa Erdrich is climbing that that list really quickly. And then my one of my latest kind of obsessions is Jean Foss. Anyway, so those would be my favorite authors and favorite genre. The next prompt is 1001 activities. Do you have a favorite outdoor activity? That would be fishing. I'll say again, I used to have a fishing channel where I made videos. The channel's still up, but I don't really make videos over there anymore. I think the last one I made one last month. And to be honest with you, that channel kind of ruined fishing for me to a certain extent. I go fishing less now, because if I do go fishing, I think, well, why don't you just make a video? And then as soon as I make the video, I remember that they are a pain to edit. And if you don't keep your fishing channel going, people stop watching your videos. That community is different than this one. And then the last one is 1001 book clubs. This isn't a prompt, but a question. Should Sandy start a 1001 book club? I definitely think the answer is yes. Go for it. I think people would enjoy that, because Sandy is absolutely delightful and really insightful about her books. Anyway, there you go. There's 1001 book tag. I'll leave the prompts down below. If you want to do this tag and you haven't been tagged, please do so. Sorry, something weird's happening across the street. And anyway, I look forward to your comments in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching.